Hi, everyone. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Great to be with you again. Another fine evening. It is Tuesday, May 17th, and we're just about 8:27 p.m. in the evening. Great to be with you. If you're new, you're going to notice at the top right-hand section of the screen, you'll see a QR code that just appeared there. Go ahead and take your phone, scan that QR code. Once you scan the QR code, it will lead you over to my link tree. That's linktr.ee/some of the great stuff. You can scan my QR code on the top of my hat, which will take you there as well. Or you can go to Believe, BELIEVEME, Achieve, ACHIEVE.com. Either way, you'll be able to get to my great information and content to help improve your life and everyone else in it. Now, if you're here for the first time, you probably know or maybe not know that we have different master topics every week for the entire 7 days, and then every day we do a mini topic based on that master topic, a little more granular. And great to have you here, and great to have all the wonderful people that are coming back that have watched me many times, friends, colleagues, associates. Great to have you here, and hopefully some of the new people will become just like the people who have been here for a very long time. So great to have everyone here. And if you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, what is the topic tonight? Wonder no more, because our topic is how to say thank you. Yes. So how do you say thank you? I mean, I think that becomes a slight challenge for a lot of people because saying thank you is not hard, but I think sometimes it can cause a problem with some people because either they don't say it, or in addition to not saying it, maybe they say it too much. Those are some interesting things to think about, right? You didn't think that you could say thank you too much, but you can. You absolutely can say thank you too much. And so when you say thank you too much, um, it has a way of, how can I say, giving you a bad reputation. Okay. And so I think some people don't get it, but it's the truth. And so what I would tell you to do is this: when you say thank you to somebody from the heart, it means a lot more than somebody that just kind of throws these airs on, right? So when we talk about the word thank you, thank you is said all across the globe and different parts of the world, but it means the same thing. It acknowledges the person for thinking about them, for doing the right thing, or for just thinking about them, really, is what it's about. But for whatever reason, people that say thank you, I don't know, they don't do it for the right reasons. They do it for the reasons that they're looking for something. Okay? Yeah, they do it for the reasons that they're looking for something. You might say, well, John, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy, because the thing is this: if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, okay, and we've talked about this before, if you're doing something for the wrong reasons, then that can be a big problem. I mean, a serious problem. How big of a problem? Well, it can become so big of a problem that it actually starts to annoy other people. And when it annoys other people, you start to get known as the person that, is always saying thank you to people, but they really don't care. Does that make sense? They really don't care about the word thank you. They just do it because they think it's what's needed. And so that might seem, a little crazy, but the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, it is the truth. And so if it's the truth, then how does somebody know if they're being sincere or not? Well, that's a pretty interesting enigma there. And I think the way that comes about is understanding that saying thank you is not something that's required. It's a political nicety, right? It's a cultural thing that people do. Somebody makes you dinner and you want to say thank you for that. I mean, these are all great things you can do. However, thank you has put people into a box. Like they feel like, you know, people are saying thank you to them too much because maybe they're looking for something. And so maybe you're not. But the rule of thumb is you don't want to say thank you to be a pest. You want to say thank you in an appropriate manner that says, hey, this is great. I appreciate what you're doing. Now, if it's somebody that you don't know very well, then the thank you level needs to be a little bit lower, like, hey, thanks a lot, or just, yeah, thanks. Don't put a lot into it. The more you know someone basically affects the type of thank you. Now, I'm not talking about whether it's romantic, platonic. I'm just talking about how long you know the person. So somebody that you just met on the street, and maybe they pick up something that felt, oh, gee, thanks. Just very gentle, like bristle, thank you. You know the person maybe a year or so that's like, oh, thank you very much. Maybe a little more into the thank you. If you know the person for many years, wow, thank you so much. That is great that you picked it up for me. I'm so grateful. Or just something like, you're always there to pick up stuff whenever I drop it. And so when somebody gets to know you more, I think it affects the type of responses. And I think this can be pretty keen, a pretty keen insight of knowing that. Hey Kenny, it's great to see you again tonight. I can feel the aura of people to let me know if people are sincere. Yes, Kenny, I love that. You read my mind. And so when we think about that aura, right, you can tell by just being around them, their body language, their tonality, their eyes. I mean, are they saying thank you, like, hey, thank you? And they're looking like, hey, thanks, mom. You're not even looking at the person. So you can tell when somebody, I like to say what Kenny says is that, you can tell, but you can feel them. You can feel the aura. And I know a lot of you are saying, John, what the heck is an aura? All right. Well, we're going to answer your question because I know a lot of you have this answer or this just have this thing in your mind. So an aura is a distinctive atmosphere surrounding a given source, according to Merriam-Webster. It's a subtle sensory stimulus such as an aroma, but it's not necessarily a smell. It's the vibe somebody gives off. It could be something as simple as how they're standing. It could be, when they're standing, are their feet pointing towards you or are they pointing away from you? Because if they're pointing away from you, they're already disengaged with you. Maybe you're in a conversation with somebody and their foot is not pointing towards you, it's pointing away from you. That means they're not really that interested in your conversation. Maybe they're just trying to be polite. If somebody is not interested and they say thank you to you, do you rudely ignore it? No, you say thank you. And if you say thank you to somebody, you say thank you. When somebody says thank you to you, typically your response is not going to be thank you back. It's going to be you're welcome. Now, you're welcome could be thank you. Oh, you're welcome or thanks. No problem. So when somebody you just met, somebody says thank you. Oh, don't mention it. Or something like that. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Kenny. I'm going to take that as being very positive because, you can't just become something you're not. If you are, what happens is people might get tricked by you once. However, if they're back around again, they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not going to get fooled again. And I think a lot of people out there today are saying, John, how do I read people's auras? So most people that want to read people's auras are up to no good. They're trying to figure out how to defeat them. If you are using the aura to try to figure out how to build more rapport, that's great. But a lot of people are not building genuine rapport. They're building this false stuff, right? And stuff that's not even held together with nothing more than twigs. And so when I think of the word thank you, all right, I've known you for maybe a year and you're in my freshman class at high school. And maybe you said, hey, John, Mr. Brian's chemistry class is filling up. You really should get in there before you go to lunch. Make sure you get a spot for next semester. Gee, Brian, thanks. And that's genuine. If I just met Brian a couple minutes ago, it's like, oh, Brian, I'll check it out. Okay. Like, you make it a lot more light and airy. If it's somebody you know really well, like more than a year or two, maybe 2, 3 years, and it was like, hey, John, Brian, Dr. Markin's class is filling up. Oh, geez, I better do that right now. Thanks a lot. I better do it. And like, you're expressing some more emotion. And I think that's the real positive thing about it. When you express a genuine emotion, people around you can see it, but they can feel it. So you're saying to me, John, I can say thank you to people without even opening my mouth? In some regards, yeah. You can say thank you to people without even opening your mouth. That's pretty cool. So if that can happen, that means there's an energy that is between us or between whoever. And generally, this energy can be picked up anywhere between, let's say, maybe anywhere from 3, 4 feet to much closer, right? You might have heard from some people, they say, you're in my personal space. Can you give me a little space? Like, they're a little bit too close. That's that personal space. They call it the intimate space, even though nothing's relationship-wise happening that's really personal. But it's in that space where they don't know you yet, so they want you to stay back. When you do something that shows your respect for someone, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say thank you. And depending on how much that means to you, you're going to affect you to say, oh, sure. Like, you're going to be casual about it. You'll be like, of course, I respect you. Or absolutely, I didn't want to offend you. Like, it's going to affect your mannerisms. It's going to affect the speech that you elicit, the words you choose. And if you're saying that you don't control that, you do. The thing is, most of this is done subconsciously. So if you are saying thank you to somebody just because you feel you have to say thank you, chances are the person's going to be like, knowing that you are not sincere. Now, they're not going to be like, hey, you're not really thankful. No, they're going to just be like, oh, okay. And they're not going to give you much of an investment back. When somebody in your life says thank you to you, the first thing that probably happens is your eyes perk up, right? And generally, if your eyes don't perk up, you don't smile, it generally means, and you can feel it, that the person is trying to give you a snow job. And they're looking for something. So somebody says, oh, gee, John, thank you. You're great. You're wonderful. And the first thing you come out with, if you know they're up to something, is like, okay, what are you looking for? What do you mean? Well, you only come around and you only have ever said thank you to me 2 other times. And each time it was when you wanted something from me. So what do you want? Oh, I'm hurt. Like, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends whenever you need something. But whenever I need something, you're always just running to class. Oh, don't be like that. I mean, we're like pals. All right, what do you want? Well, listen, I'm having trouble in chemistry. And I was just wondering, since you get all A's, if you would be willing to help me out. And it might be something simple. Well, what do you need? I need your chem notes. Sure, I can give it to you right now. Fine. If they say to you, well, gee, I need your chem notes, and I was wondering, can I ask you a question about osmosis? Yeah, sure. Could you explain that to me? Sure. Now, if he says to me, John, can I borrow your chem notes? And if I have a question, can I ask you? Sure, no problem. If he says, I borrowed your chem notes, and if I have some questions, would you go through the chapters with me? That's different than would you answer a question or two? If I say to the person after I borrowed your notes, hey, Brian, thanks so much for letting me borrow your notes. The finals next week. Your notes are great. I'm just not getting it. Can we spend a few hours, maybe tomorrow night, and you go over it with me? Now, generally the person is going to be put on the spot. And they might say something like, let me get back to you. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. And that could be genuine. Or they may just be trying to, let's say, delay the situation. You see, this is why a lot of people, and you might not know this, have reverted to cell phones, texts, and emails. Because when you do that, it causes the person to be able to get control back and not have to give you an answer. Like in a sale, a lot of times, somebody sends a quote, says, oh, thank you. And the person says, oh, just send me an email, I'll get back to you. They don't say bring it by. They don't say call. They say send it to me and I'll follow up. Now, when is the right time to follow up? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? So that's a great question. And I know this is really getting off thank you, but I think it's important. Thank you also borderlines into respect. So if you did a quote for someone hypothetically, and let's say the quote was going to time out, I don't know, on the 18th of next month, right? It might be a good idea to give them a call maybe a week or two before the quote times out. So again, typically a quote usually goes for 30 days. And you reach out to them with just a simple casual email. Hey, I know you got the quote. Was just checking to see if there was any questions that I didn't answer. And when you may be considering going forward. That's all. You want to keep thank yous and agreements non-threatening, because when you do, the person is going to be more likely to help you. Like in school, if somebody says to you, gee, John, could you help me? What do you need? I was just wondering if you'd watch my books while I go get something in my locker, because these books are expensive and he doesn't want people to steal them, because the books are always getting stolen because these books are highly in demand. So that might be even in nice areas that happens. What else would happen? Well, let's say in the morning, somebody says to you, hey, John, listen, would you do me a favor and go get me a bagel with cream cheese? Now, there's two ways this can happen. One, they say, hey, I'll give you the money right now if you could just go get me a bagel. Or, John, could you go get me a bagel with cream cheese and I'll pay you when you come out. Now, you have to have some trust in them. And we're going to have another episode in the future about trust, but I just want to express the thank you part. They've given you the money. You say, thank you. Go get it, bring it back. Or the other way is you've done it, you've gotten it, and they got the bagel. And they say, oh, thank you. Oh, here's your money. Now, if they come back and they say to you, oh, you know what? My wallet's in my car, or can I give it to you tomorrow? You're not going to say thank you. You're not going to be angry. But the next time that person asks for something, because we've had people like this in school, and there was a kid that I got lunch for because he said he didn't have money. Meanwhile, his parents had plenty of money, but he just didn't have any money on himself. So let's say Tuesday I got him something. I think I paid for lunch, got him 2 slices of pizza and a soda. Tuesday comes, doesn't have the money. Wednesday's odd, Wednesday. So you don't ask him every day. But then I asked him like Thursday, hey, let's just call him Tommy. Tommy, just wondering, did you have my $6? Oh, geez, man, I was running. Okay, no problem. No, just give it to me on Friday. Okay, fine. Friday comes. And now you don't get your money on Friday. So on Monday comes and still don't have your money. So now another week goes by and you kind of let it slide a little bit. Here's why. You know that he's going to need something again. So let's say a month goes by. And first of all, you do this, all your friends are around. Hey, Tommy, I lent you the money, understanding that you would pay it back to me. Like it's been like a month. Another few weeks goes by. He says, oh, John, can I borrow $1? I just need to get a soda. I would, but you owe me $6 from a month ago. Oh, yeah. No. And now what's going to happen is when he goes to ask Paul for money, hey, Paul, you got $1? Well, ask John. Well, why does he give it to you? Well, he said no. Okay, well, we'll ask Chris. Well, I asked him already. What happened? And then he said, why did he want to give it to you? I don't know. And then they come back and say, well, I'll tell you why, because it doesn't pay us back. And so now that reputation gets around. And then they say the word, oh, gee, thanks. Like, that's a different kind of thanks. That's a thanks like kind of like I'll use the proverbial capital FU, or an SU type of thing, because it's kind of saying the message that, you know, they're upset. He's upset that you're not giving him the money, and also that you kind of, you know, now told everybody there at the table, and he put himself in that situation. So that's a thanks that we don't celebrate. When that happens, the first thing you should do is say, "Look, yeah, it was my fault. Just give me tomorrow. I'll pay you back," and give them the money back. Now, how do you build that reputation with the other people? You have to now become credible. But once you messed up your credit, nobody else wants to let you borrow even a nickel. We had this at school where, going to a private school, you had to have gym shirt and your gym shorts, and, you know, white socks and sneakers. So we'd have like a gym bag. And in my high school, private high school, we had private grammar school too. And so we had what we called a 7 days, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had a 7-day cycle. So what that basically meant is that you could have gym potentially 2 days a week, but we had 2 days a cycle, where a cycle was 7 days. Now, let's say you didn't have your gym clothes with you. Well, when you got to class, you would be there and you wouldn't be dressed in the proper attire. And the first thing that the one of the gym instructors would say to you is, "Where's your uniform?" I left it home. And if it happened once, they might let it slide. If it happens a second time, you know, this is like the second time you've done this. And so usually what they would do, this is like in the, let's say in the freshman stage, they would let you call your parents, who would be very angry of having to come from either work or from home, and bring you your gym bag. Now, if you called them before gym class, everything's fine, but maybe your parents went out or they had to take your family somewhere and you couldn't get your gym bag, right? And usually what it came down to is sometimes you had your gym bag, but for whatever reason, most students didn't have more than 1 or 2 pairs of gym shorts and gym shorts, that you maybe forgot your shirt or you forgot your shorts. And you had your gym bag, but you just forgot that one item. And so then maybe you'd go to one of your friends and say, "Hey, I don't have my gym shorts. Can I borrow $8 and borrow $10? I need to buy a new gym shirt or new gym shorts." And if the person trusted you, they'd say yes. And they knew that would save you out of a demur. But that also meant that if there was an issue down the road and you had let's say they had a problem, you would help them out. You'd bail them out. So it's a respect. And that kind of thanks is like, "Hey, Mark, thanks. You saved my life." No problem. Nobody. It happened to me. I know you'd help me. I've forgotten my clothes dozens of times, and people have always helped me out. Now, some people would either let you borrow their shirt, which is not a great thing, or they give you the money, presuming they have the same size. So there's different types of thanks, but the one I wanted to really cover tonight was the thanks that's kind of that dagger thanks, like, "Gee, thanks." Or maybe there's a birthday party and everybody's invited, but you're not invited. And then you go to the person and say, "Oh, gee, happy birthday." "Oh, yeah, thanks. We're not really doing much." And now you just hear that everybody else is going to this birthday party. So, "Oh, you had a birthday party?" "Yeah, just a few people." And then it's like the whole class is like going. It's like, "Yeah, I kind of have to watch how many people I invite. My mom's not going to invite so many people." But yet there's 40 people going and there's 45 in the class. This doesn't make sense. So now they either have to say the invitation was lost and they have to make face, or they do something like, "Yeah, I don't know. I didn't handle the invitations," or, "We're really not friends." "Oh, gee, thanks." But they invite everybody else in the class. So that's a different kind of thanks. That's a thanks. That's a dagger thanks. But I wanted you to understand that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you again this evening, as it is every single evening. Please go ahead below, like, support, love my channel, comment below. Have you ever had an issue with thanks? Have you ever had one of those dagger thanks come at you? Or have you ever been the dagger thanks? Have you ever had an issue where somebody didn't pay you back and you had that snarl remark of thanks? Were you the giver or the receiver? Let me know. And of course, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to visit my YouTube channel and John C. Moore, John space, C space, M-O-R-L-E-Y space, Sir Moore. And look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. Below that, click on the PayPal link and make the choice to buy my team that cup of coffee. You know we'll be so grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, and even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational, inspirational content to help you learn about words like thanks and many other things to give you the empowerment to become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. Again, I hope that you found this to be really interesting and educational. And like Kenny said, the aura, we can feel it. We can't fake it. Some people might be able to do that to some of the people, but you can't do that to all the people all the time. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow.